Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Soy. So today I wanted to make another copycat dish. It's called the Nonna Meatball and sauce from Saute, Sicilian in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. You need 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of ground pork. The general rule is each pound of meat they use 1 egg. I got 2 eggs. I need some breadcrumb. I use since I'm gonna put Parmesan cheese in it, so I use the Parmesan cheese flavored breadcrumb. And I use quarter cup of Parmesan cheese. You need parsley, but I don't have parsley. I use the dry one, so let me rehydrate them first. So I'm going to use a quarter cup of parsley and hydrate them first. Otherwise, it will suck out all the water from the meatball. So while the parsley is rehydrating, I'm gonna chop some garlic. Here I have a dozen of this tiny garlic. I would say if big one is 3, it's like 6 of them, but since they're tiny, I use 12 of them, so I need to chop them. Half of them save it for the sauce, and half of them save it for the meatball. So I have the garlic chopped, and I'm gonna divide it into half to go into the meatball. The other half go into the meatball sauce. The sauce go into the meatball. So this is half, and my parsley is already hydrated, so I'm going to put it in the meatball mixture. In addition to the above, you need Parmesan cheese. You need grated Parmesan cheese, and I would put a quarter cup. Just sprinkle, put it in there, and use your hand to mix them together. The reason I decided to make this copycat is there's only 2 types of meat: the ground pork and the ground beef. That's it. And also it doesn't have other milk and stuff like that. It seems very simple. So the meat is mixed, and I'm gonna use a small ice cream scoop to start making the meatball. And I have the oven preheated 350. I'm going to bake the meatball first before you put in the sauce. So all the meatballs are done, and I'm going to put it in the oven 350 and bake for 20 minutes first, and then if it's not brown, and then increment every 5 minutes. So 20 minutes. And meanwhile, I'm going to start making the sauce. So to make the sauce, I have 6 small cloves of garlic chopped. I need a yellow onion diced. So I have a small yellow onion. I'm gonna dice it. So the onion and garlic, they both are done. So I'm going to move it to the stove side. The next step is to make the Nonna grandma's marinara sauce. The first thing is put some olive oil. It's about 2 tablespoons. And turn on the exhaust fan. Wait for the oil to get hot. By the way, the stove is on high heat. See it on high heat. This is just 1 piece of short rib, but it just cut it into 3 pieces. brown on all sides. The short rib, it's been brown all sides, so you take them out. You're gonna put it back in eventually. And then the next thing you put garlic. Put the 6 cloves of garlic that you chop. They're tiny 6 cloves of garlic, not the big one. And put the onion, the diced yellow onion. You need to sprinkle some salt on top of the onion to sweat them. You also need some pepper, just a little bit pepper to sprinkle on top. And very quick, the onion is already turned translucent. You can tell. They're no longer like healthy white color. And then at this time, you put all the tomato sauce. Six cans total. Also 1 can of tomato paste. And you need a piece of bay leaf. And also some red crushed pepper. I will put like 1 teaspoon. And don't forget, you also need some sugar. I will put a tablespoon of sugar. 3 teaspoons is equal to 1 tablespoon. So I have a teaspoon in my hand. So that's 1 tablespoon. And mix them well. And you bring the short rib back to the sauce. Since the original restaurant had a brick oven and they toasted those meatballs in the brick oven, so I decided to increase the temperature of the oven to 450 degrees and bake it for 30 minutes. And the meatball is ready. They're nicely browned and all the juice is sealed in. And at this point, and I'm gonna put the meatball in the sauce. I already have 1 piece of bay leaf. I need 3 more. And I also need black pepper. So I put a teaspoon of black pepper into the sauce and mix them. And at this point, you return all the meatball in the sauce. I have returned all the meatball to the sauce, and at this point you close it and let it simmer. Bring it to boil and then let it simmer for at least 3 hours. So it's only 8 o'clock in the morning, so we won't have lunch until noon. So this will be cooking for 4 hours. And when the time comes, you can either serve the meatball by itself with some Parmesan cheese on top, or you can cook some spaghetti and put the meatball on top. So the sauce, the Nonna's sauce, and the meatball has been in the sauce simmer for all day, 8 hours. And the restaurant, this is how it's served. Give you 2 meatballs, and the meatball sprinkle some Parmesan cheese. You can have shave the Parmesan cheese. This is grated just as good. Here you go, bon appetit.